huge breaking news that came down today pretty much out of left field. Monday Night Raw, which has been on linear cable television since its inception in 1993, starting next year in January 2025, will be moving to a streaming service and not Amazon Prime, Mr. Unger. Monday Night Raw for at least 5 years, if not 10, if not 20, according to however long this company wants to extend them out for, will be the exclusive property of Netflix for $5 billion.
I was extremely shocked by this announcement. I thought for sure all WWE programming was going to move to ESPN and ESPN Plus because of the partnership WWE has with the UFC now, and the fact that all UFC programming, whether it's pay-per-views, fight nights, whatever, is essentially on ESPN Plus. So I was fully expecting WWE to follow the UFC and move to ESPN. So when I saw this, I was like, wait, what? Like, I don't know about you, but I didn't hear any speculation about this coming to fruition. Did you?
Not Netflix. There was speculation around Amazon Prime a lot. That's where I thought Raw was going to land, actually. I took a look at the fact that they got the USA Network deal done with SmackDown, which was cable. Then they went to NXT. NXT's moving to the CW that's broadcast. In today's society, if you can get broadcast, cable, and streaming, a lot like the NFL is doing now with their TV and media rights contracts, WWE has always been ahead of the curve. The WWE Network launched in 2014. They were one of, if not the first streaming service to offer full live streaming of their, pay-per-view / premium live events. They go out and they obviously sell the network to Peacock in 2021. But WWE has been very ahead of the curve on media rights. They got back into the broadcast side of things with Fox in 2019. And there's a lot of interesting reports out there. What I find fascinating is it does sound like that if you have the ad-free version of Raw, you're not going to have any commercials during the 3-hour broadcast. It sounds like the matches are going to be completely revolved around commercial breaks. It's going to have a completely new flow to the show. There is talk about making Raw TV 14, or at least as close to it as you possibly can, making it a little bit more edgy. So it's fascinating, and obviously by the money and what Nick Khan and what Triple H have done with WWE now, making it more global than ever. Fans are already used to streaming when it comes to Peacock and their streaming services. I think the most interesting part about this will be, I know Nick Khan said that as of right now, it will stay on Mondays. I'm going to be honest with you. I am not so sure that is the case.
Because of Monday Night Football and the Manning cast and all that, right?
So there's a lot to it. But I think, obviously, Raw has been on Monday since its inception, and there is something to it being tradition. But this isn't the 1990s anymore, and it's a little bit of the fact that you do have to deal with Monday Night Football. But not only do you have to deal with Monday Night Football, you have to deal with the NBA and the NHL playoffs on Monday nights. You have to deal with the NCAA College Basketball Championship, college football some nights, the MLB Home Run Derby, NFL preseason football on ESPN. There are a lot of competition where, it's mostly like this time of year, February, maybe some March, and then, probably July, that you don't have any sports competition. But for most of the year, there's a lot of steep competition on Mondays, not to mention major holidays. And I think if there's an opportunity for them to move it to even a Tuesday night, I would do it.
But if you move Raw to Tuesdays, what do you do with NXT?
I think WWE, you have two options with NXT because I do think SmackDown's going to stay on Friday. You either move NXT to Thursdays, or there is that scenario if WWE wanted to try their hands again. You know exactly where I'm going with this.
The AEW NXT war.
I think that WWE now is in a better position to compete with AEW than they were 4 years ago. I still don't think they would win every Wednesday night. I'm going to be clear. I think AEW would still win the quote unquote war, but I don't think it would be a complete blowout as to what the numbers have been saying about NXT slowly gaining viewership. AEW is sort of staggering in viewership, if you will. I do think this announcement, though, is a big win, not only for WWE, but it is a big win for AEW because it means they're going to stay on Warner. And whether they decide to go with Max or a streaming service for their pay-per-views, which I think would absolutely be the right call. I told you about that now for years. They should have been doing it a couple years ago. I think AEW can win very much from the fact that Raw did not go to Warner because I believe that was a real negotiating move from WWE.
I do too. I totally get what you're saying about AEW. But I just can't shake the fact that, like, I don't get this. Like, if you have Netflix, are you going to be able to watch Raw live, or is it?
Yes. No, you are going to be able to watch Raw live. It's going to be from 8 to 11 on Mondays. Again, for now, this could change. But Netflix has done some streaming of live shows. Right? They did a concert and something else last year.
Okay.
It's going to be just like the Peacock situation with the premium live events. There's going to be tiers to Netflix where a lot like the premium live events, if you get the ad-free tier, you will be able to watch Monday Night Raw from 8 to 11 in its entirety live without commercials, even during matches.
Okay. It'll be interesting. I
like it. I think it's progressive. I think it's going to work. And again, from a business perspective, you get SmackDown on cable, NXT on broadcast, Raw on streaming. I think it makes perfect sense.
Oh, I do too. But I'm still a little bit surprised that they didn't do something with Disney or ESPN Plus because of the partnership with the UFC.
Yeah, I thought that, FX could be in play for Raw. I thought maybe even ABC could be in play for Raw. What I'm going to find interesting is in 2026, the Peacock deal comes up with the WWE Network. Will they move the WWE Network to Netflix as well as a part of this new partnership? That will be something to watch. I like Peacock. I know a lot of people don't want Peacock. I think we all miss the old original WWE Network. But I think Peacock's been a good host for it, but we'll see if it ends up eventually on Netflix.
Hey, speaking of Peacock,
Yeah.
we've got a premium live event coming up. There we go. We are on the road to WrestleMania as we've got the Royal Rumble going down. And as of right now, it is supposed to be like a 5 or 6 hour show. And yet we only have
it's not going to be a 5 to 6 hour show. I'm telling you that right now. This is going to be about a 4-hour max show, which I'm glad about. I think it makes sense. I think the show's going to be over by midnight Eastern. We only have 4 matches on the card,
which makes no sense to me.
See, I think it makes perfect sense, and I love it. The big focus will be on the 2 Royal Rumble matches. You don't need to overbook this card. The 2 Royal Rumble matches, the Fatal 4-Way match for the Undisputed Championship and the United States Championship, to me, fits this card just fine.
I would have put in, given the way this New Day Imperium feud is going, I would have done that tag team match on this card personally as like
a random tag team match for what? You could have put that easily on Raw, which needs more TV time than the premium live event.
Well, they've turned it into a blood feud recently, but nonetheless, let's focus on the Royal Rumble. I don't really want to. Well, actually, I do want to talk about the Fatal 4-Way, but I don't care about the Roman Reigns part of the equation. I want to focus on two other guys in the match, LA Knight
Yeah.
and the phenomenal AJ Styles. If you give me that feud and that match at WrestleMania, oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Those two together, like in a legit feud, not part of a Fatal 4-Way or triple threat or anything like that, and then you give me that singles match at WrestleMania, that match would be fantastic. So I want to. That's what the part of this Fatal 4-Way that I'm most interested in. How much interaction do we get between AJ Styles and LA Knight? That's really the part that's most interesting to me.
I think this is going to be a fascinating Fatal 4-Way. I cannot wait to hear the pop of Randy Orton when he hits that RKO on Roman Reigns. I'm very fascinated to see who takes the pin here. And I agree with you. I think Styles and Knight would be a great WrestleMania match. WWE has so much talent right now. I don't know if there's enough room to put those two guys on a singles match on the WrestleMania card with as much talent as they have right now. There is so much talent back there. People are going to miss out on WrestleMania. They shouldn't miss out. WWE's roster is as deep as it's ever been. I agree the feud would be great, but I don't know if I could book that for just a one-on-one match.
Oh, I think you could easily book that for a one-on-one match, and that if they were to do that at WrestleMania, I really think that match could steal the show. That's my
I don't
opinion.
think that's their plan for Mania. It may be a part of their plan for Elimination Chamber in Australia, because I do think the plan is to get LA Knight, a United States Championship match at WrestleMania 40 against who I believe will be the champion, the man who will retain against Logan Paul, who will face off against Kevin Owens in what should be a very entertaining matchup.
Yes, I agree. I kind of wish it wasn't Kevin Owens in this spot. I get it, but like it feels so predictable that Logan Paul is going to win. And
I don't know about that. I think there's a scenario where you can take the belt off Paul and KO can walk into Mania as champion.
which I would like that. But it just feels kind of like the obvious route to keep the championship on Logan Paul because of what you were just saying about most likely it being LA Knight against Logan Paul at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. But I want to get to something we saw on Monday Night Raw last night, and I want your thoughts on this. Because we saw Seth Rollins, he's talking about his knee injury and all that, and then he gets interrupted by, of all people, the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. And as I was listening to his promo and what he was saying about Seth, I'm like, I didn't realize I wanted this match. But now that I think about it and I'm hearing what Gunther's saying, I do want to see this match. And this is going to upset you. And I don't care. I want to see Gunther versus Seth Rollins way more than CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Get out of here with CM Punk. No, thank you.
It's cooperate time! CM Punk is about to main event WrestleMania, whether you like it or not, because the night one main event will feature CM Punk as the challenger to the world heavyweight champion Seth Rollins. And then after WrestleMania, Seth Rollins will eventually move to challenge and maybe even possibly dethrone the Ring General. Gunther as the Intercontinental Champion, as Gunther will then move eventually to the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe that's the SummerSlam match. Gunther CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I could actually see it a little bit differently. I think Gunther will not be dethroned by Seth Rollins. Instead, he will be dethroned by Yeet main event
It's very
Jey
possible.
Uso. But I'd love to see Jey Uso and Gunther both be in the Royal Rumble. But let's get to the Royal Rumble, because last year, that's where we got the Logan Paul, Seth Rollins feud that went into WrestleMania, which I thought that feud and the match, I thought it was my personal favorite
Well,
of
that's because
WrestleMania.
you're a Seth Rollins fan. That makes sense.
Yes, but also because I thought Logan Paul was very much able to hold his own. He was able to present himself as a legitimate threat, and it really got me interested in the match, not just because of Seth Rollins. So I give full credit to Logan Paul on that. So tell me this. What WrestleMania feuds do you think we're going to get out of the Royal Rumble? Because as I just explained, a lot of times you get WrestleMania feuds based off of interactions in the Royal Rumble. Am I wrong about that?
You're not wrong, and I'm going to give you one. The
Go.
Ring General Gunther will be defending the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. He will do so against the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, after they meet in the Royal Rumble match after Lesnar becomes a surprise entrant.
I get the intrigue behind that match because it's big men slapping man beat. I don't love it, though.
Gosh, it's the last guy for Gunther to face.
Let me throw another name out there. Johnny Gargano against Gunther for the IC Championship.
I'm not a Gargano guy. I don't care if he's from Cleveland. My uncle knows him. I'm not a Gargano guy. I don't think he has personality.
I would personally love to see that match, Mania, for the IC Championship. I think the stylistic matchup is what makes it so intriguing to me. Is you have Gunther, who's this big, muscular guy, and Johnny Gargano, who is more of a athletic guy. I think that stylistic matchup would be so interesting at WrestleMania.
I think we may get another tease of a Rey Mysterio Dominic Mysterio match when Rey Mysterio returns in the Rumble with Dominic already in the ring.
But what do you do with Santos Escobar then?
Again, I think you can do that match at Elimination Chamber, and Santos doesn't make WrestleMania.
What do you think of the reports that maybe Hulk Hogan is going to be? You've heard about this, right?
He's not going to be in the Rumble. It was a tease. You know who Hulk Hogan was talking about?
No.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, because it's happening. The Rock is coming back. I don't know if he's going to be in the Rumble or not. I don't. But I'm telling you right now, it's happening. The Rock and Roman Reigns is main eventing night 2 of WrestleMania. And I'm sorry to all the Cody Rhodes fans out there. Cody, you're not going to finish your story this year. You can do it in WWE 2K24, but you're not doing it in real life because The Rock is facing Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship in night 2 of WrestleMania.
So if you let's say they actually go down that route, which I agree with you. I think that's the match they're going to do. What do you do with Cody Rhodes then?
Well, as I wrote this week on an article of Voltage Live, a lot of you people are not going to like this, but I think you put Cody Rhodes in a multi-man match with Sami Zayn and R-Truth and The Miz against Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre, because I don't think there's another place. I don't think Cody belongs in the Punk Rollins feud. I don't think Cody is the one to face Gunther, because I think Lesnar and Gunther is the only real option out there for Lesnar. I don't see another great spot for Cody. And we've seen people. We've seen Daniel Bryan rise to the top of WrestleMania 30 and fall back down to the mid card the next year. It will not kill Cody Rhodes. It just wasn't. Cody's going to have to wait another year. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. But again, you have this match with The Rock. You cannot pass it up. And I don't think Cody really fits in another story outside of the one he's been doing with the Judgment Day.
I think the Cody Rhodes Judgment Day story should have been finished after War Games. That's my opinion, though. But
all right, we gotta quickly move because we're almost on time. We gotta get to the women's Rumble match real quick. I think there's 3 possible winners for this Rumble. It's going one of them, I believe, will probably be the winner, and that is Bayley. I think that's the route they're going. Bayley will face Io, though I would like it to be a triple threat match with Dakota Kai involved if she is clear. I think you could also go the option of Becky Lynch winning the Rumble and challenging Rhea Ripley, though that might be best set up in the Elimination Chamber in Australia. And I'm going to give you a wild card here that she has not competed yet in a WWE ring.
Jade Cargill.
Former AEW wrestler Jade Cargill. What a way to debut her. Similar to the way Cody Rhodes came off as a big star when he left AEW and came back to WWE at WrestleMania with that match against Seth Rollins. What if you debut her in the Royal Rumble? She throws out 8 or so wrestlers, wins the match, and then goes on to challenge one of the women's champions at WrestleMania 40.
It definitely would be a good way to do it. My guess is they were, before her injury, they were probably going to do Jade versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, but those plans most had to change, obviously. What I'm hoping, there's a couple people I hope show up at the Royal Rumble this year from NXT. I want Roxanne Perez to be there. I wanted Cora Jade so bad.
She just got hurt, unfortunately.
I know. That's why I was so devastated, because I think Cora could have been great in the Royal Rumble, and she could have found a place on the main roster. I was so devastated about that. But Roxy, I want Lyra Valkyria in the Royal Rumble. I don't care that she's the NXT Women's Champion. You can do that anyway. I love that NXT wrestlers get to participate in the Royal Rumble, and we get to know them.
And by the way, unlike in the Vince McMahon era, they actually get shine in the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
I'm very excited for it. Can't wait to watch the show, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock down there, Tropicana Field, the home of the Tampa Bay Rays.